Alright, I am late to this album, like really late. It's not because I didn't know about it. I did, I just didn't want to talk about it because I have a controversial opinion. So I've avoided talking about this album because of a problem, a specific problem. And this is a problem that has kind of just permeated the music industry, and it's unfortunately going to probably take over the K-pop industry as well. Because it's just been stupid successful. So JungKooks' album Golden debuted at #1 November last year. 7 was the fastest song to ever hit 1 billion streams, and 3 of the songs from the album were on the Billboard Top 10. This album was literally made of gold. But as a music producer and someone who genuinely cares about the artists I work for, I couldn't help but see some problems surrounding Jungkook and this album, and I've seen stuff like this in the music industry for years, but never quite like this. Before making this video, I listened to the album front to back on my favorite speakers, the Prime Wireless Pros by SVS. These speakers are absolutely incredible. The detail, the depth, the presence, it's all there, but that's actually not even why they're my favorite speakers. They're my favorite because they are so easy to use. They have connectivity that literally rivals any other speaker I've ever seen. You can connect them to pretty much anything, TVs, Bluetooth, Apple Play, even a turntable, without sacrificing even an ounce of audio fidelity. These things are the real deal. If you want to get a pair of real speakers without the headaches of amplifiers, decks, worrying about ohms and impedance and stuff, I'd recommend the Prime Wireless Pros. Music is made on speakers like these, so if you want to listen to your favorite artists the way they were designed to be listened to, SVS is partnering with me in this channel with the mission to get real speakers into the hands of just anyone and everyone who cares about high quality sound. There's a link in the description. You can pick up a pair. You really won't regret it. These are incredible speakers. I would not have asked them to sponsor this video and this channel if I didn't think so. So it is a well-known fact that a lot of pop artists out there don't actually write their own songs. Some do, but a lot don't. And that's fine, and there's nothing wrong with that, but there's something you gotta watch out for, and that's performing songs that don't fit your musical brand. When you think of The Weeknd, there's a musical brand that comes with him and his music. And when you think of Justin Bieber, there's a musical brand that goes with him and his music. Their music is super recognizable, and it has like a musical stamp almost. It's a brand. To have a good musical brand, you gotta be really good at writing or picking good songs. Justin Bieber and his team are just really good at picking good songs, picking good producers, and just kind of good all around A&R. Now, I would argue, after listening through JungKooks' Golden album, that it's pretty hit or miss. And some of the songs absolutely slap and are super on brand for JK. And some of the songs, I'd say, didn't quite hit with his brand. But one song in particular, I think, was actually pretty damaging. And that song, in my opinion, is 7. Now, on paper, 7 should have been like my favorite song on the album. It was co-written and produced by Jon Bellion, literally one of my favorite producers of all time. Wrote and produced for Justin Bieber, the Jonas Brothers, Tori Kelly, Maroon 5. The list literally goes on, and that even pales in comparison to the work he's done in his own music. 7 it's catchy. It's got great lyrical melody, rhythm. JungKook's vocal performance was awesome. The production is great, but the lyrical content is literally awful. It's a song about effing a girl good every day, all day. Now, I'm sure a lot of people don't really care, but I think that's pretty degrading. I think it's shallow and just morally gross. I definitely wouldn't want to be the woman he's singing about. And the problem was, that was now my image of Jungkook, and that's really not a good image. But Isaac, who cares? It's a massive hit. It's the fastest song to 1 billion streams. People love it. And it probably made Jungkook millions of dollars. And yes, it is massively successful. I don't know why, but my statement stands. The image of Jungkook in my mind was now just 7. Now here's the thing. I actually went and watched the behind the scenes of Seven, where he like travels to LA and records his vocals on the track. And I mean, the video just popped up in my feed. And that's when I realized his persona in the album is nothing like who he is in real life. In the album, he kind of goes from like player to heartbroken and loving a girl, then hating a girl, cool, smooth, whatever, I don't know. But what I saw in this behind the scenes video is a genuinely humble, talented, sweet guy who just really wants to make good music. I've worked with a lot of artists. I can see who they are based on how they enter the room, how they like perform their parts, how they treat people in that process. And JungKook is just a guy. He was nervous before he got into the studio. He was complimenting the producers. He got excited. He was chatting and joking with the rest of the crew, laughing. It was awesome. And it just totally changed my image of him from Seven and the Golden album to what I saw in this behind the scenes video. You would think there should be some sort of connection between the two, real life versus your albums. And that's where the problem comes in. I'm calling it the JungKook problem. So JungKook doesn't really speak English, and I'm sure a lot of the songs are explained to him before they record and stuff, and when they're picking and moving forward with songs, and he speaks some English, but to pick a good song, you can't just base it off the rhythm, melody, and feel. The lyrics are really important, and whatever team he has around him, I genuinely believe failed him in that. And yes, the album was a massive hit, and I guess if that's all that matters to you, great. Good job done. But I think JungKook deserves better than that, and I think he's an awesome artist, an incredible singer actually, and from what I've seen, just a normal, humble guy who just kills it in the studio. I don't know if he really understands the persona that this album has painted him out to be. I think if he did, he'd probably have made a very different record. And I will say that like the non-explicit version of Seven is much better. I mean, Latto's feature still has a bunch of like innuendo and like implies sexual stuff, but it's miles better. But with the success of Golden, I'm worried that a lot of K-pop artists will just start like signing American songwriters and producers and just say like, you know, do the JungKook thing and not really knowing or caring about the lyrical content of the songs and just kind of screwing up their reputation and like the image that they have in their fans' minds. And I'm all for K-pop artists reaching out and like into like English-speaking audiences and stuff, but it needs to be done in a way that's consistent with their musical brands. And it might be like successful in the short run to do what JungKook did, but life is not about the short run. Like your image matters, and what makes a listener stick around for more than just one song is your long-term just your long-term image. It's serious. By the way, Standing Next to You is probably one of my favorite songs of all time. It is so on brand for JK and like the Michael Jackson influences, the down chorus. I love a good down chorus. My favorite trend since like Charlie Puth did it with Attention. It is one of the illest things since, I guess, Fake Love. I don't know. I love it. It can be done, people. It can be done. Anyway, this is all my opinion. I've worked with a lot of artists. I've seen what works, I've seen what doesn't, and I just really want the best for JK and just the rest of the BTS crew and just K-pop in general. I think there's a lot of cool things coming out of K-pop, and I would hate to see it just all kind of ruined with this stigma of the player, kind of what happened to hip hop really, which was like the drugs, the alcohol, the girls, the pimping and all that stuff. I want it to stay out of K-pop because K-pop is so cool and there's so much cool stuff coming out of it. I just don't want it to get screwed up. Anyway, I'd love to hear your thoughts, and I might be literally the only one who thinks this way. I don't know, but I do know your ears will thank you if you go check out the Prime Wireless Pros by SVS. Literally the perfect speaker. There's a link in the description.